Hi guys, welcome back for another garden update. I'm scared. Bunny XO. The book I'm going to be listening to while I do this yard project at Bunny XO. Her past is like she was an escort, right? And now she's married to Jelly Roll, and now she's phased out of that. She doesn't do that anymore. Now she has a cow named Crunch, and like she has like her makeup artist and her hair designer person are like her best friends, and they travel around in tour buses, and like she wrote a book just recently, and this is the book. And I heard something about they're going to make it into a movie already. So I I thought it was the reason why they picked this book wasn't just that. That's why I bought the book, right? So the reason why I picked it now is because my husband and I share an Audible, and so I had downloaded this, like pre-ordered it, and it got downloaded, and I just hadn't got to it yet. And I think like Thursday he came to me and he was like, "I listened to some of that Bunny XO book," and I was like, "Oh yeah?" I was like, "Jelly Roll's wife?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't know who she was, just Jelly Roll." He's like, "Her life's crazy." He's like, "The men she's been with," he's like, "Jelly Roll is the best one." And like he got all into it, and then today he tried to talk about it again, and I was like, "I haven't listened to it yet." I was like, "Tell you what," I was like, "I'll clean up the front yard if you watch the kids, so I can do it in peace, and I'll listen to it, and then you and I can sit down in the nice pretty garden once I finished it, and we can talk about it." He said, "That sounds great." And I said, "Do you want to be on my blog with me?" He said, "Only a little bit." And I said, "Deal." And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to read you the synopsis. Stripped down, unfiltered, and unapologetic by Bunny XO. And this is supposed to be like part of her memoir. And she said there may be a part two. Here's a synopsis for Stripped Down, Unfiltered, and Unapologetic by Bunny XO as of Goodreads. So this is what Goodreads says is the synopsis. From the trailer parks of Vegas to the mansion of Nashville, Bunny XO has lived a lot of lives and seen the darker sides of humanity. Her memoir, Stripped Down, Unfiltered, and Unapologetic, is cold, clear evidence that no one is unredeemable. With a heavy dose of humor and refreshing sense of self-awareness, Bunny pulls no punches as she shares her journey of redemption while offering some homespun wisdom to those who need a little saving themselves. Alyssa D. Ford, known to her millions of fans as Bunny XO, that's her name, Alyssa D. Ford, started at the bottom and spent the first part of her life falling even deeper. Now Bunny XO is one of today's most successful podcasters and has paved her own way through the entertainment industry as the owner of Dumb Blonde Podcast Production, building an empire with her heart and personality at the forefront. Stripped Down is the story of how Bunny XO rose to the top, how she used her own wiles to reach her goals, and how she knew redemption was up to her and no one could hand it to her. And a message to anyone who needs advice on breaking their own cycles. Hilarious, earnest, thought-provoking, and occasionally downright shocking, Stripped Down is a modern-day rag to riches story and a message of hope to anyone struggling to redeem themselves. So I'm really excited because, like I said, I've been listening to her podcast, Dumb Blonde, for quite some time. And I thought it was funny on one of her podcasts, she said like the whole reason why when she says XO, like when she says Bunny XO, like in a text or like a letter, it's like her way of saying like buck off. Like that's what she's telling you. She's like, XO, it's not a good thing. Like, and then just recently she started to Ask Tell Confess, which is a little bit more adult, but like I enjoy it. It's like a Reddit, but like kind of better. So I'm excited to read that, and then we'll have a sit down with the husband in the cleaned up garden. So tomorrow I'm gonna clean up the garden, and then I'm gonna hopefully get some of the podcasts done. I might show you guys my like relaxing routine. I think it's gonna be like a day in the life of like a me, because it looks nice on the weekends. So it is garden season where I live in the PNW, the Pacific Northwest. I live in Washington, and that's all I will tell you. So it's zone 8B is my front yard. Doesn't look very good. Like it's the branches have fallen down, and like all the dead stuff, and like all the trimmings from last year. I chop and drop a lot, and sometimes things don't break down, and we have a tree that just like dumps stuff. Anyways, usually what motivates me is like when I buy new things, like if I don't want to clean my bathroom, if I will trick myself and I will go buy like new towels and new soap and like a new shower curtain. So I was like, we're at the store getting play sand for the kids for their sandbox, because you usually do that around Easter. And I was like, bulbs. So these I got from Coastal today. It's a farm store. That's where I got these. So I got some fragrant freesias. These are double mixture. There's 15 bulbs in here. Freesias are actually my favorite flower. They are so pretty smelling. I have to say freesia lilacs. They're like to get like the fragrance is where it is. And then I found out about like Dave Austin roses. I don't have any yet, but they're like the ones that you use for weddings. Like they're very fragrant. They're usually very full and like they're like the luxury roses. So someday I will get myself some of those. Right now I just have like garden roses. Most of the ones I have are from my grandma. So I have them all over the place. The other ones that I got were Blazing Stars Leatris mixture. Leatris mixture, 10 bulbs. So those will be fun. So I'm planning on like strategically putting these in an area and like so we can see the progress of the area. So there's double mixture and there's single mixture. So I'll have to look up what that means, but I got 3 packs of those. And then Grecian Windflowers Ano 1 Blonda mixture. It's deer resistant, winter hardy, height 4 to 6 inches, full sun, partial shade, mid spring. So I'm like on the cusp for those. So I don't know if I can show you. I usually pick them by if the colors look good together. There's a lot of purples, pinks, and there's some yellows. So like I think I don't need. I don't know why I do what I do sometimes. But yeah, I feel like those colors, they will go well together. Yes? Okay. So those are bulbs. Those are the bulbs that I acquired today on the journeys. And then I got some sunflowers because the kids like these. Sometimes my son will just go out there though and he'll just I don't know what's going on with him. But last year he was 6. And one morning he was mad at me about something. I was like, oh, let's go out in the garden and he'll chill out with his chalk, right? Now I go out there, every single one of my sons just I was devastated. So hopefully he doesn't do that again this year. So I have 2 kinds, sunflower mammoth, and these are supposed to be the big ones. So I got some of those. And then sunflower, the golden honey bears. These are the fluffy, smaller ones, and they have like 2 heads. These ones look really pretty in like vases. So these ones I usually let go and like let the birds have them, or like the kids have the seeds. And then these ones are like the ones I cut and put inside. So I got those 2. I didn't go crazy this year. Sometimes there's been times I'm like, oh, I got this many sunflowers, but maybe later. I mean, it's still young in the year. Nasturtiums, Jewel Blend, and Peach Melba, because these things are like, wow. Like, so they came up in the spring, they came up in September, and they came up again. It's March, and they're like, it just got cold last week enough to like finally kill them off. And now, like, I see some new green coming back. So I was like, we need some more of these. We'll do these. And then I have these flower mix made in the shade. It's partial shade because I have trees. So this one is from Botanical Interest. This is one, if you're ever going to mail order seeds, Botanical Interest is the place to get them from. It is beautiful packaging. Like, and they have some of like the rare seeds or the seeds that you can't find at the feed stores or some of the garden stores. So recommended cold climate is 2 to 4 weeks before your average last frost date. You can sow half the seeds 4 to 6 weeks before your average last frost date. And so second half, a week or 2 after your average last frost date. Okay, that's probably what I'll do. I'll split them into 2 and then I'll just put an alarm on my phone. So the sunflowers, I'm pretty sure I can do the sunflowers now. 1 to 2 weeks after your last frost date that happened. So plant these now, and then if they don't come up in the 4 to 6 weeks, so I don't start seeing something, I'll just go and buy another pack and try again. Our squirrels are tenacious. So that's what I have, sunflowers, a mix, and then bulbs. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go in. It's cold. I hope you guys enjoyed the flower update, and I hope you enjoyed watching me clean up. So I wrapped up the yard project for today. I wanted to go do something fun before it closes today. So we're going to head and do that. For the stripped down, unfiltered, and unapologetic by Bunny XO book, I have arrived at chapter 7. It is called Girl Interrupted. And this is the time when her dad tells her that they're going to go to Disney, just her and him, right? And not with the evil stepmother. And he takes her to a freaking mental hospital. Like, I'm sorry, but I would never go home with you again. Like, I don't know what age, but that would be it. Like, the second we got home, I would be lickety splitty out of there. Are you kidding me? First off, you lied to me. And then second off, it was Disney. Like, that's horrible. Like, every kid wants to go to Disney. And then you took her to a mental hospital and said that she was having problems. And then she tells the psychiatrist, like, my parents don't listen to me and I'm upset about it. And she's like, you are what you said you are. I'm not going to medicate you. And then her dad's like, well, I don't want to pick her up. Keep her. Give her medication. Like, that is a horror story. That is why so many people who have like ADHD, autism, like ones that we can function with these diagnoses, but just things are different for us, right? But being locked away in a mental institution is absolutely terrifying, especially like knowing that history shows that it has happened to women just because we were difficult, or that's exactly what's happening to her. Her dad had that mentality of, if you're a difficult person, a difficult child, a difficult woman, lock you up. We don't want to deal with you. That is so wild. Or medicate you so I don't have to deal with you. Instead of looking at yourself and being like, why is my child unhappy? Why is she so angry? Why isn't she happy with her life? It has to be something's wrong with her. Like, I don't I do not blame her for leaving. Honestly, I would have been out of there right away. I would have packed my bag and been like, I'll sleep in a cow field for that. I don't even care. Eventually we'll upgrade to a tent, right? So that's where I've stopped, is that when her dad's saying he doesn't want to pick her up from the institution, he wants her to stay longer, and the psychiatrist is like, well, you need to come pick her up because there's nothing wrong with her. I'm not giving her medication. So from here, like, I do know her history just from the podcast that she does end up leaving home early, but I think she's a bit older. I think she's like 16 when she leaves. But yeah, after a parent does that to you, how could you forgive them? And then like all the other things too that happened when she was a younger child, like a child doesn't know when inappropriate things are happening, but you have a feeling, right? And then when you go to your adult and you say, hey, these weird things are happening, and they're like, well, it's your fault, or where are you making where would a kid get that information? Oh, I know, by the appropriate things that you're putting on the television and teaching them. So the only reason why they wouldn't believe her was because they knew that they had influenced her and that she might have some of that information. But that still does, why would a child have any want for those things to happen to them? They're not an adult. They don't think that way. It's absolutely wild that a child could come to somebody and say, hey, like, this adult did something sketch, and that adult wouldn't step in and do something. And I know it happens every single day. I have seen it firsthand, it happening. I don't understand that. So be real. I understand. I do. And continue on. We're going to keep reading and head on and do our fun thing. It is a rough read, though, I have to say. Like, I'm just listening to it, I have teared up a couple times, but I think that it is a good story to hear, especially like for men to hear. Like, this is reality for a lot of women, and most of her life was rough because starting with her dad, but then we pick men who we think that, oh, well, we can fix him. Like my dad, if only he had a nice mom, he would have been nicer. So maybe like if this boyfriend has a chance and I'm nice enough and I do enough, maybe he'll be good enough. Like, it's almost like because they weren't good enough to us, we're trying to find somebody and prove to ourselves that they could have been and it wasn't our fault. We just need to accept that it's not our fault and tell them to fuff off, and just not include them anymore. That's honestly how it has to be. And I think that that's something that I'm also seeing similarities with her and myself, is that she's realizing that love, you don't question love when you know what love is. You question love when love becomes painful and you're wondering why people would want something that hurts so much. And that's why you have to really question, what is love? And you can't just accept any kind. It has to be the real thing. Otherwise you call BS and you want nothing to do with it. So that is difficult. And when she talks about being a difficult woman to love, like, same girl, same, but like, who made us that way? Like, you can't complain when you broke it. So I am enjoying the story. I would say definitely trigger warning, read them and maybe take it at chunks and maybe not just straight through. So that is where I am, chapter 7, and I'm going to continue on reading, and I'll give you guys another update. We're going to be here getting I'm getting one of those Ashi berry lemonade refreshers and then heading on in to do the sauna and the red light. So probably about another hour before I check in. or maybe a little longer, and then I'll give you an update on where I stop for the day. Thing that I've been liking lately is I have been going to Palm Beach Tan. Not sponsored yet. Not sponsored yet. However, I've been going there. I wanted to get a spray tan just to like try it. So I did like a drop in. I did it and my husband was like, that's pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, it is pretty fun because like I only get red. I don't tan. I don't ever tan. So it was kind of fun to do it. Like unlimited tanning. So I get unlimited spray tans. I only do like one every 7 to 10 days. Because I don't need a lot. Like this is pretty dark for me. I'm excited. This is fresh. This is 2 days. And then they have an unlimited sauna that you can do. And then they have unlimited red light. So the sauna has a red light and then you get, I think 30 or 40 minutes of red light therapy. You can put it anywhere on your body. So I'm putting mine on my knee. I went rollerblading and I tore my tendon probably like a long time ago. It's probably like 11 years ago. But when the weather changes or when I'm laying in bed, if it's laying on my other knee, it like hurts. So, and then especially like if I'm walking up hills or stairs, I can do it, but I wear a brace because she starts getting a little wobbly. So it was my ACL that I tore. So that is what I'm trying, the red light therapy, to see if it works. And then honestly, the red light therapy in the sauna, it has Bluetooth so you can listen to the iPod. I hope nobody else can hear it because sometimes I listen to like true crime stuff. And then the little salt pod thing shoots at you if you want it. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So that's what I've been doing to kind of wind down at the end of the day. When the husband has the kids, I'm like, see you in an hour or two. Let's go do that. So I've arrived at chapter 16 after all of that, and I did actually continue on and ended up filling the lanterns and hanging out at home a little bit. So I'm at chapter 16. It's called Hey Ma, and this is kind of like entering where she's having some medical issues due to like there I believe that they got a hold of some drugs that doesn't sound like they were what they should have been. And it's she's going to the hospital and they're like, there's ink in your bloodstream. Maybe she was trying to do like a tattoo. So that is where I have stopped, and a lot of things have gone down. Like, and honestly, she's handled it pretty well. Like, besides the hard drugs, like she's pretty much held her own the whole time. Like, if you took away the hard drugs, like girl was champing at Gold Star. But I mean, having hard drugs in your 20s is kind of something that most people do. It's normal to experiment, and maybe she wouldn't have experimented so hard, and especially being in Las Vegas too. Like, I mean, honestly, girl didn't do so bad considering the area that she was in, the age she was in, the situation she was in, and probably all the influence around her. Everybody else probably saw their parents partying, so of course they're going to party too. So it's amazing that she lived, and I mean, she did learn, right? Like afterwards she says that she will never touch it again. So I do think that like hats off to her for that. Like she is growing up in a world all alone on her own. She's raising herself. We're going to make mistakes, and it's amazing that she got to live through that one. But everything else going on too, I mean, the boyfriend really doesn't give a crap about her like at all, and she stays with him. Like, and then the fact that she says she stays friends with him, that's wild to me after all of those things. Like any of those men, if any of those men, like you talk to any of them ever again after that, like she it's just it's sad to see that like she got so used to people not showing up for her that even with men she didn't hold them to a hard standard. Like, and generally I think that some of us go the other way where like if men let us down, right, like they call us man haters, but it's not really that, is it? I think it's more like prove to me you're not like the other ones and then I will trust you. I don't just give the trust out right away. But I feel like when we are used to being let down, like it's almost like we feel like we're the ones who have to earn the trust. Like I have to be good enough for them to be good enough to me. Like I have to earn it and then they'll be good enough. We don't really realize that in the book. It sounds like she also doesn't realize that at that time in her life that men could just not be good enough. Like a person could just not be the person that you want them to be. It has nothing to do with how good you are, how hard you try, or how much you cook, you clean, you do what they want. You're not a burden, you work. It doesn't matter. If he doesn't value you, you can't change how he values you. That's his choice. And there's nothing you can do for him to see your value. You have to see it yourself and remove yourself and find somebody who does. And it's rough to see that, like, that is toxic loyalty is something that does seem to come with daddy issues, and it is a rough thing, like, to love people who cannot or are not capable of loving you back. That's rough. So chapter 16, hey mama, she's going to the hospital over a bad trip, and we'll see what happens from there. It says I have 5 hours and 7 minutes left, so I will give you guys an update next Monday and let you know what I thought about it and give you an update, and we'll see how the rest of it goes. So far, an amazing book, and I think she's very brave for sharing it, and no judgment here. Like, that is human to react the way that she did in those circumstances. That is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've read the book, if you've listened to any of the podcasts. Do you like Bunny or Jelly Roll better? Do you have an opinion on that? All right, I'll see you guys next week. I will see you actually next week for the rest of this video. I will see you on Wednesday for Russian Rummy Sprints, and this Friday we will be finishing up The Empress by Kristen Cass for the book club. I look forward to seeing you guys for either of those videos, but definitely catching up with you next Monday for the review of Stripped Down, Unfiltered, and Unapologetic by Bunny XO.
Soft, turn the key and cooler on. This a pause for relief.